Hello, this is Miguel from the Embargo Man. Okay, when the situation happened with the Detroit Big Three auto companies, Ford, GM, Chrysler, aka Stellantis, in the assembly plants of Toledo, Winsville, Missouri, Toledo, Ohio, and Wayne, Michigan, workers are looking for the union contracts. All right, so let me tell you something. Not all the American made cars are made by the big three auto companies, right? So what's going to happen right there? The solution is when work was done right. When work was done right, there was less slacking off. To say that back in the days, back in the days when the big three were dominating, people were dedicated to make a quality product. Like Ford and GM were the big ones. Chrysler is another one. But also there were competition. Competition is good. I could agree with local competitions. But sometimes there are like sometimes like foreign competitors, or sometimes they have companies that are new and they went out of business here and there and whatever. General Motors have done the same thing too. They have bought a guy named Chevrolet, and they bought Buick and all that stuff, and they formed General Motors, and they killed some companies, right? They killed Oldsmobile, they killed Pontiac, right? I'm just saying this is it. My dad was working once, one of the big three companies. They closed the assembly plant, and they plan to move to Edison, New Jersey. Edison, New Jersey made a Ford Ranger, right? So cars back in the day, this is just a different story, but you know what? People were not so skeptical with foreign cars back in the day. So when people were so skeptical with this German piece of garbage, this German bugging on a freaking, yes, cars from Germany and Japan flood into the U.S. market, and you're saying, okay, what they think about the freaking, what do you think about this damn bug? This little bugmobile ain't gonna. Guess what? This bugmobile has sold out more cars, and it was just something to help the German economy with the Volkswagen. All right, so the Japanese also came in, and people thought about Japanese products were junk. The joke's on you. All right, the joke's on you, big three. Yeah, so it's like saying Airbus is the joke's on Boeing. Now what's going on is that you have so many stiff competition, workers, and people try to slack off. All right, I could agree when sometimes there's products from non-union shops that are made better quality than their unionized counterparts. Tesla is an American company, right? So what it is that, man, this is nothing new. Foreign auto companies has set plants in America. Volkswagen has done it in Pennsylvania and whatnot. So is saying Nissan. But when it's a union shop, there's so many vehicles that came out of union shops. All right. An example, the Chevrolet Nova from the 1980s. The Chevrolet Nova from the 1980s came out from Toyota's first assembly plant. Toyota, call it it was called NUMI, all right? It was between General Motors and Toyota, you know, they make the chassis, and then it's just a joint venture, right? And most likely those are quality unionized made products, all right? And this is just a lesson from these auto companies that they learn from their Japanese and European counterparts, right? So things has changed, all right? Now globalization takes its place, and what we have there is the same thing. Slack workers, you know, you have the union shops protecting these workers who are not even know how to make a damn car. All right, they don't focus in their factory work. I mean, this is one thing of the problems of all of these things, and this is where I could say sometimes immigrant workers do a way much better job than the natural born US born workers in so many other areas, all right? Thanks to immigrants in this country, that you have a railroad system, all right? You know, the railroad infrastructure. You have Chinese immigrants coming by and build the railroad tracks. It was made very well. I mean, to say they outperform them. That's what it is. Thinking about the Asian workers, when I was thinking about Asian workers, I always think about Japan. But now it's not just Japan. You have China and South Korea putting things together. And I was just thinking, okay, was the Korean make junk? I mean, not anymore. Look at Chinese electronic corporations, right? I mean, first thing of all is that time changes. This is not to say, okay, let's put an embargo. They already have done an embargo on China. Huawei, for instance, with phones. Huawei, there's just a trade embargo. So, I mean, this is just so many skeptical things that I would say. I could agree that immigrants going into the auto industry would be paving the way of improving the quality of union made factories. You know, is like saying the only two foreign auto manufacturers had union shops: Mitsubishi in Normal, Illinois, and Toyota in Fremont, California. That factory is now belongs to Tesla. Right? So what's going on with all this unions and non-unions? There are these states that call right to work states. And now let's put it on in the picture of everything. For the hard workers who did their best work in the union shops from back in the day, thank you for your service. You made your quality products. Ford especially, General Motors, but now that we have something to do with the lack of quality, lack of training, slackers, people that slack off in their factories, that don't pay attention to detail. And there's a reason why they just people were going after, Asian, some South Korean, Japanese, and European auto companies for their products, even though they have factories in America. That means that a worker in Alabama is making a better product than somebody in Michigan by a union shop, right? So what it is that They have these non-union shops. They could hire the best workers and everything like that. And that's one thing. I am proud to see an American workforce, but sometimes immigrants, I mean, like my dad, who used to work for the Ford Motor Company in Wayne, in Mahwah, New Jersey. It's close to New Jersey factories, so yes, no, they no longer in existence. Have did a very well job. Somebody from Colombia were working at FMC, Ford Motor Company, but how things change and how the big three is and how the corporations in general, where they tend to be. Their main goal of all corporations is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. Automation. It is what it is. What would automation is and the reason of the strikes and the reasons for why people have to strike. Not just the good workers, but also the sloppy workers. Because what they have known of the big three, if they want to compete with the quality products from their Japanese and German counterparts, they have to look towards where they need. I mean, they need some. They just invest in robots. They invest in robots, and that's what they do. They invest in robots because they know that those robots do a better job than paying union contracts for, say, protect the the slacky workers that they just don't they don't focus on their work and just do a bad quality product, for example. Especially General Motors and Chrysler, even Ford in some factories. All right, so they are sick and tired of these protecting protecting slacker workers. They just don't do their job very well and whatnot, and that's the reason why they have these contracts. These contracts against and on the UAW, that means it's not the same. What the UAW, or what most likely why they don't need the UAW, is that they want to modify their factories. They want to do everything so automated, so state of the art, that all you need is one person, putting the machines. All very robotic, all very modern, all right? It's happening in certain countries, and this is just the way of the future, the way it is. It's cheaper to have a bunch of machines, all right? It's not like whatever it is, but yes, automation is killing jobs. I mean, it is not like back then, okay, I'm gonna you're gonna lose your job. Your job's going to Mexico. All right, no, your job ain't going to Mexico. Your job is staying here. But all it is, they just modernize this facility where they don't need so many people to do so many stuff to put a car together. Let the robot do it, and probably the robot does a better job than a union paid worker. And that's a matter of fact, right? Another reason to say there's one thing of improvement is migrant workers. So migrant workers are the ones to say that they come and say, like I have seen in a video about an Italian town with the textiles, that they have Chinese workers, Chinese immigrants, all right? These Chinese immigrants make like jackets and whatever it is for those high-end brands. So that's and that is in Italy. But in America, there's one final leap of hope. Where is gonna go? Chinatown, Detroit, Chinatown. The a factory in Chinatown, Detroit will be the Michael Jordan of all auto factories in Michigan. All right, so this is what it is. Why? This is just comparing with a Michael Jordan, the basketball player. He is like the greatest of all time. Nobody could stop Michael Jordan. That factory is like gonna perform like Michael Jordan. And let me tell you the reason why the Detroit, Chinatown factory would be the Michael Jordan of auto factories. Let me tell you why. All right, so what it is with these things, and what it is that once Japan were like, okay, you want to have cheap Japanese imports, all right. China is the new Japan. China's the new Japan. China has been improving their products. Is that even that you might even notice a Mercedes-Benz that is made in Germany and a Mercedes-Benz that is made in China have the same. The Mercedes-Benz that is made in China has the same quality as if if it was a Mercedes-Benz that is made in Germany. That's what it is. This is just using Germany for an example right there, right? It went to that level, the made in China label, and went to the quality standards of a German product. Put it that way. That's how high it went, right? So as it is to all of suddenly, even for YouTube, even for the people on YouTube watching in Hong Kong. And for those of you watching in Hong Kong, you better listen, you better know about it, because your family members living in the mainland will have interested in these auto manufacturing jobs that they need for the big three auto companies. So talk about Stellantis, talk about Chrysler, Stellantis, all right, Chrysler, all right. So, what it is that they do have some union shops, right? So they have made a factory for Mitsubishi, put it that way. That's just another that now that they close it. Now it's a Rivian factory. So what it is back in the day, that even Chrysler is go all into the details. Then it was bought by Daimler-Benz. Daimler, the company that makes Mercedes-Benz, were there to, let's say, try to improve it. Then they just sell it out, and then they don't want to get rid with not just to pay attention in there. The Italian company Fiat has bought it. Now it is called Stellantis. Stellantis own Fiat. They own Chrysler. What it is now, that even Jeep, that is no longer American Motors, and for lack of a better word, the big three of Detroit buy out some of the other companies because they are afraid of local competition. Yeah, local competition. My ass, local competition. Competition is coming from Europe. Competition is coming from Japan. Competition is coming from South Korea, and competition now is coming from China. Yes, that's the main difference. China. That's what the former president says. China, right? So, for lack of a better word, China is making better quality products than America. That's the truth. That is the truth. A Chinese worker could outperform an American union worker in their work quality, craftsmanship, and everything like those. This is why this Buick Envision is better built than any car from General Motors made in a union shop. Yes, better built than any car made in a union shop in the United States of America. So, to say it all, that means whatever comes from China, the quality comes from Deutschland. That's the truth. Whatever comes from China, the quality comes from Japan. That's how you put it in the way, if I could tell you that's the truth, and the truth hurts. The truth hurts. Nobody could handle the truth. All right. So what it is of all this thing and all this business, for all you workers out there, for all you slackers, a Chinese worker could outperform you. Why does some Chinese knockoff of a Harley Davidson is better built than a one that is made in America? Because they see what it is. Oil leak, oh, they stop the leak. That also gonna have a better built bike made in Chinatown. So how would it work and how would it is? All right, since this Reagan amnesty thing with migrants coming to the United States and stuff, then this is gonna be more of a effect with is that probably whoever is Ramansi or Joe Biden or whoever gonna be the next president. All right, what it is that what we need is sometimes immigrants. All right, put it this way: a German immigrant named Brown, Warner Van Braun, sent a man to space. All right, so it is what it is. NASA is made out of international scientists and smartasses from all over the world. They take the best talent. It is as it is. Every single best talent, where they come from, could be from Germany, Japan, Korea, whoever. They just go and do and bring their thing to the table, and for lack of a better word, improve our lives, right? So the same thing with businesses, even the auto industry of the American auto manufacturers, the big three of Detroit. I mean, this is just one thing that this new law would be, is that either you go to automation, you save huge bunch of money. Go send a factory from Detroit, Michigan to Texas or to the southern states, and then they have and don't get involved with unions. That's just another, lack of a better word, solving some problems, getting the best talent. But yes, that is all go all the way through a simple factor of immigrants. Immigrants are the ones doing all the damn hard work. All right, immigrants from wherever they come from has built your houses. Immigrants has built your railroads. And those same immigrants from the same country that build your railroads are going to make your cars. Why? Why they're going to make your cars? I mean, talking about the ones that made your railroads already, they've been long gone. They're dead already. I mean, for these new people coming in. What it is to make these people feel like home. So when they make them feel like home, there's no better place than to just sit up shop at a Chinatown. Why at a Chinatown? Because what it is, one country that I have wished, I mean, regardless of the politics regarding with Taiwan and regarding, well, what it is there's people that are fed up living in that country. Put it as it is. Put it like, what would the government say? They cannot speak out against Xi Jinping or something, of some whatever. They have some certain freedoms restricted, right? So what it is with this amnesty, or what would the government should do, is that you could receive Chinese migrant workers. You receive Chinese migrant workers to work at one of the three assembly plants in Ohio, in Michigan, and in Missouri. Or that one of the big three, GM, Ford, or Stellantis, could set up shop in Chinatown, Detroit. Right there would be the best performing auto plant that came out from Detroit, out of the big three. Yes, the best performing auto plant in America. And to say at least, they just come all the way from China. I don't know. It's set up shop in Washington State. One of the big three set up in Washington State, or in San Francisco. But yes, in a Chinatown, an auto plant at a Chinatown. To say that, once these workers came out and they know what it is, what they're doing, going to a church service and giving a sermon in Mandarin, or put it that way, I mean, whatever it is that it's okay. Why in the world they have a Chinese church somewhere in Detroit or whatever? Or put it this way, or a certain place of worship and whatnot to say within Mandarin. It is what it is. I mean, this just call a statement to do that even Harley Davidson could set up a shop at a Chinatown, Detroit, making bikes in Detroit, outperforming Milwaukee factory. This is just one thing, is that also won't be included, but all it is just focusing on the big three, improvement of quality of their products, all with just plain and simple migrants from China, immigrants from China, not sending jobs to China, sending Chinese workers to America to rebuild the auto industry. That's it. To help the big three reach the goal to match the quality of products that is coming from automakers that came from Japan, South Korea, and Germany. Yeah, mostly Japan and Germany. All right, so if a Cadillac could reach out to be the same quality as a Mercedes-Benz, that means thanks to Chinese migrants. Well, and what if if a GM car could reach the same quality as a Toyota, thanks to Chinese migrants? And I tell you the reason why: Chinese immigrants. All right, so there's a slogan that I have made. It is true that it is going to be, for a matter of fact, something what it is. If it is made in Chinatown, Detroit, the quality comes out like it came from Deutschland. In other words, saying made in Detroit, Chinatown, Detroit, quality from Deutschland. You know, to saying that Chinese workers will outperform American-born workers, saying that they came here, they applied for General Motors, Ford, Stellantis, aka Chrysler. They automatically become U.S. citizens. They could even learn English a bit and whatever, or maybe just take the citizenship, the American citizenship in Mandarin. Yeah, Mandarin Chinese. So I mean, this is a great way of a project to test the waters if quality would be improving by bringing Chinese immigrants to the United States to work for the big three auto companies of Detroit, to say that what have been made in Chinatown, Detroit, definitely could apply the quality from Deutschland or the quality from Japan. Because what it is you can focus is that to say it all about Chinese workers and they become naturalized American citizens once they work at Ford, GM, and Chrysler, aka Stellantis, they could have one of the big three companies could have set up shop in Chinatown, Detroit. Which car they're gonna make? If it's Ford, they have some certain model. If it's GM, they also have some certain models. If it's Stellantis, they have some certain models. But what it is, whoever makes the factory in Chinatown, Detroit, the factory, whoever makes it, Ford, GM, or Stellantis, will get the J.D. Power Platinum Award of quality control, of quality, better craftsmanship. I bet this kind is a possibility of testing these waters. And you have nothing to lose. Whoever's president, Biden, or whoever's gonna run in 2024, you have nothing to lose. What you have is a win-win situation in our hands. If union shops could make a quality product that are equals from products that came out not just from South Korea, but came out from Germany or Japan in their quality, you better thank Chinese immigrants and setting up shop at Chinatown. And this is the reason why when there's American factories in China, the second largest economy in the world, in China, quality over there is truly job one in China. Not in America, but in China. you come out saying, okay, this would be Ford have factories in Germany. I mean, let's say a Ford car that came out of Detroit, out of Dearborn or something, or yeah, somewhere there, might not be equal to a Ford factory in China. A Ford factory in China, for example, would have the quality of the Ford car equal to a Ford factory in Germany. That's just put it that way. A Ford car coming out from a Ford factory in China comes to have the same quality as a Ford car that came out at a Ford factory in Germany. That's how it is, that comparison from apples to apples, right? So to say all this and to say it ain't so, to say that is that, and to order for all this, I might write a petition. Is there, it might be there. I might be posting the petition right there. I mean, it is to say, you got my word for it. It's a win-win situation. I mean, if you have the big three automakers who want automation, you lose. In a way, people are still going on strike because they lose their job against machines. Or you send the jobs to southern states. And the solution of a win-win situation is Chinese immigrants, a factory in one of the big three built in Chinatown. The cars in Chinatown came out, in Detroit Chinatown, came out like Deutschland quality. That's the truth. For lack of a better word, Chinese workers are very hard-working workers. They work as hard, equally as hard as the Japanese, equally as hard as the Germans. They know what they're doing, and they're doing their job right. So, I hope you could talk to the president or whoever comes for president from the Republican candidate and say, we want immigrants from China to be naturalized citizens to work for the big three of Detroit. That's it. So, goodbye, peace out, subscribe to the Embargo Man, and see you on the next video. Goodbye, everybody.